saying when it's 4 against 1, I would hope that there is some other option as opposed to killing this man.
Vanessa,
but he did go for the gun.
Here's the other option. This is why I brought Judy in. Judy, the other option would be that people like this poor man are not out on their own in some sort of altered state. If he had mental illness, some are saying he was just released from a facility a couple of months ago. Really, the problem with cases like this is the overarching problems with our system and the fact that this guy ends up interacting with law enforcement when he should have been in the mental health system. It's in a different training when somebody's decompensated from a mental health standpoint than with somebody from law enforcement who needs to neutralize somebody who's a threat. We de-escalate people.
That's right, Dr. Drew. This is called the downward drift hypothesis of the mentally ill. Eventually, they can't handle work. They can't hold down a job. They can't keep living in a household. So then they end up on the street, and they're not being cared for in terms of their condition that led them there in the first place.
But no, Judy, let's say you and I are confronting this guy. We're not going to say, hey, you know, we're not going to confront him aggressively. We're just going to surround him and contain him, which is a different kind of training. And Evie, I know you've taught me that you guys are trained to do this sort of neutralization procedure, but it's very different when you're dealing with a mentally ill individual. And police are trained somewhat in this, but it's really not the focus of the emphasis of their training. And that's the tragedy here.
Right. And they're very hypervigilant.
Yes, the difference here, Dr. Drew, if I may, the difference here, Dr. Drew, is that they were responding to a robbery. He fit the description of that individual who had committed the robbery. Hence, right then and there, that escalates the situation because you might be dealing with someone who committed a robbery. If this were not the case, then it may have been different.
There's Abby, there's a whole other problem here in Los Angeles or in California, well, Los Angeles, I guess, particularly, is that we have overcrowded prisons and people are spilling out onto the street. It's, you know, here's the sum total of our problems. We have overcrowded prison, and we expect the police to deal with the people that are spilled onto the streets. The law enforcement and the prison system has become the mental health delivery system, not of last resort, of only resort. And we have horrible tragedies like this as a result.